It is August 4, 1944. Imagine you are standing at the bottom of a steep, secret staircase in Amsterdam. Above you, a hidden door opens. It looks like a normal bookcase, but it hides a small home. For 2 years, a young Jewish girl named Anne Frank and her family have lived there, safe from the Nazi soldiers. But now, their hiding time is over. Today, the soldiers finally found them. They will take Anne, her family, and their friends. They will send their bodies to terrible camps. Yet these evil men will never truly capture Anne. They will not silence her voice. Her words will live on, telling a powerful story of human strength and triumph over evil, long after she is gone. In that small, secret home, among their belongings, lies a special book. It is a small, red, checkered notebook. This is not just a simple diary where a girl writes her thoughts. It is a secret weapon, more powerful than any gun. Millions of books were lost during the war, but this specific one survived. It holds a unique story that will change the world. The air fills with sudden noise, shouts, and heavy boots on the floor above. The soldiers are everywhere, taking each person. In the rush and deep fear, the red checkered notebook falls. It lands open on the wooden floor. Heavy boots walk around it, but no one sees it. The book is left behind, alone, waiting. Will anyone ever find it, or will its powerful voice stay silent forever? A Normal Life.
Anneliese Marie Frank, known as Anne, was born in Frankfurt, Germany on June 12, 1929. She lived with her parents, Edith and Otto Frank, and her older sister, Margot. The Franks were a Reformed Jewish family, living among people of different religions. Anne's parents loved books and encouraged their daughters to read. They had a happy life in Frankfurt. However, in 1933, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party took power in Germany. Their new rule brought great danger to all Jewish people. To escape the growing threat, Anne's family moved to Amsterdam in the Netherlands in 1934. Anne was only 4 and a half. She quickly made friends at the Montessori school and felt at home. Anne was a happy, lively girl, always chatting and full of energy. But the world around them grew darker. By May 1940, German soldiers had occupied the Netherlands. The Frank family was now trapped. Laws against Jewish people became very strict. Anne lost her German citizenship in 1941, becoming a person without a country. Her father, Otto, tried to get visas to the United States, but it was impossible. The normal, happy life Anne knew was quickly ending. The situation for Jewish families in Amsterdam became critical. People were being taken away. In July 1942, Anne's older sister Margot received a terrible letter. It was a call-up notice from the Central Office for Jewish Immigration. This letter ordered her to report for forced labor in a camp. This meant the family had to go into hiding at once. They had planned to hide later, but now there was no more time to wait. Just 1 month before this, on her 13th birthday, Anne had received a very special gift, a red and white checkered diary with a small lock. She decided to write down her thoughts and named it Kitty. This diary became her closest silent friend, holding all the secrets and feelings Anne could not share with anyone else, not even her own parents. The morning of Monday, July 6, 1942, was rainy and gray. The Frank family began their urgent move to a secret hiding place. They made their apartment look like they had left quickly, to confuse anyone looking for them. Otto, Edith, and Anne walked through the streets, careful not to be seen, as Jewish people were forbidden from using public transport. Margot went ahead by bicycle with a trusted helper. They were leaving their home and familiar life behind. Then, as they made final preparations, the loud ring of the doorbell cut through the quiet morning.
It was a sound that meant the time for freedom was truly over, and the time for hiding had now truly begun. The Secret Room. The morning of July 6, 1942, was cloudy and wet. The Frank family had to move quickly. Margot had received a call-up notice, so they could not wait. To create a false trail, they left their apartment messy.
Clothes lay on chairs. Dishes were unwashed. This made it look like they had left suddenly. Otto, Edith, and Anne walked for several kilometers through the city streets. Jews were not allowed public transport. Margot rode her bicycle with Miep Gies. Miep was one of their most trusted friends and helpers. It was a dangerous journey. Their new home was a secret place called the Secret Annex. It was not in the quiet countryside. Instead, it was right in the middle of busy Amsterdam. This was unusual, but also clever. Who would look for them in a working office building? The annex was in the back part of the building where Otto Frank, Anne's father, worked. It was a 3-story space hidden from view. A large movable bookcase covered the entrance to the annex. It looked just like a normal bookshelf, but it was their only door to the hidden world. Life inside the secret annex had very strict rules. During the daytime, everyone had to be extremely quiet. No loud footsteps, no flushing the toilet, no talking above a whisper. This was because normal workers were in the offices below. Any unexpected sound could easily reveal their presence. It was more than a game, it was deadly serious. Their survival depended on following these rules perfectly every second. They learned to live in constant silence. Many brave people helped the Frank family. Miep Gies was one of their main helpers. Victor Kugler, Johannes Kleiman, and Bep Foskeuel also provided support.
These dedicated helpers were their only link to the outside world. They brought food, fresh water, and news. Each day they risked their own freedom and lives. If the Nazis discovered they were sheltering Jews, the helpers would also face terrible punishment. Their courage made them true lifelines. The days turned into weeks. One quiet afternoon, everyone was sitting still, trying not to make a sound. Suddenly, there was a loud, sharp knock. It was not on the secret bookcase door, but on a different door nearby, leading to the warehouse. The sound echoed through the silent rooms. Fear spread through everyone. They all froze, holding their breath. Their hearts beat fast. They heard a stranger's voice outside, asking a question. Was it a delivery, or had someone found them? Was their hidden life finally over? 4. Living with others. The secret annex, already a small hiding place for the Franks, soon welcomed more people. On July 13, 1942, the Van Pels family arrived. Herman, August, and their 16-year-old son, Peter. They needed a safe place too. Then, in November of the same year, Fritz Pfeffer, a dentist and a friend, also moved into the hidden rooms. Now, 8 people were trying to live together in the very confined space behind the bookcase. Living so closely, day after day, without fresh air or much privacy, created many challenges. The small space felt even smaller.
Anne wrote in her diary about her first happiness at having new people to talk to, especially Peter. However, soon small arguments and strong feelings started to grow between the adults. Life in such tight hiding was difficult for everyone, and constant fear made daily life very tense. Anne found it especially hard to share her small room with Mr. Pfeffer. She thought he was annoying and did not like his presence. She also often disagreed with Mrs. Van Pels, sometimes finding her foolish. Anne thought both Mr. Van Pels and Mr. Pfeffer were sometimes selfish, especially with food. Everyone was under immense pressure, and Anne's diary gives her young thoughts,
but it is important to remember that all the adults were also struggling with deep fear. Anne also wrote a lot about her difficult relationship with her mother, Edith. She felt her mother was sometimes careless or used sharp, critical words towards her. On November 7, 1942, Anne even wrote in her diary that her mother was not a mother to her, showing deep frustration. But as Anne grew older and spent more time thinking, she reflected differently on these harsh words. She later wrote that she felt ashamed of her earlier feelings. She began to understand that many of their differences came from misunderstandings. With this new understanding, Anne started to treat her mother with more tolerance and respect. Every day in the secret annex brought new worries and dangers.
The people in hiding had to be extremely quiet during the day. Even small sounds could put their lives at risk. One night, a sudden, terrible noise from downstairs woke everyone. It sounded loudly like someone was breaking into the offices below. Heartbeats raced in the dark. Was it thieves? Or, far worse, was it the police finally coming to search the building? Everyone froze in their beds, listening intently. They wondered with terrified hearts if the noise meant the police would soon storm up the stairs. The tense silence that followed the loud crash was even more terrifying than the noise itself. 5. The Girl Who Wrote. Life in the secret annex was a time of great change for Anne Frank. Her diary was not just a record of daily events, it became a mirror for her soul. Through her writing, she grew from a lively child into a thoughtful young woman. She poured all her ideas, dreams, and worries onto its pages, making it a safe place where she could truly be herself and understand her changing world. As Anne grew, she explored many new feelings and thoughts in her diary. She wrote honestly about her body's changes and what it meant to mature. Some of these very personal entries, including details about her developing sexuality and even some playful, dirty jokes, were kept secret for many years after her diary was first published.
These hidden parts reveal a more complete picture of Anne, showing she was a normal teenager full of curiosity, even while hiding from the outside world. Her relationships with the people sharing the annex also developed. She remained deeply connected to her father, Otto, but her feelings towards her mother were more complicated. She often wrote about her frustrations and anger with her mother. Yet with time and maturity, Anne began to understand her mother better, seeing her struggles with new eyes. She also found a new kind of friendship with her older sister, Margot, sharing thoughts and becoming closer than before. Then there was Peter Van Pels, the shy boy who lived with them in hiding. At first, Anne found him a bit awkward, but as days turned into months, they spent more time together. They talked about their fears and hopes, and a special friendship grew between them. This friendship slowly blossomed into a young romance. Peter gave Anne her first kiss, a moment of joy and new discovery in their confined world. Anne often reflected in her diary about these feelings, wondering if her love for Peter was real or a natural result of their shared, difficult situation. Anne had a powerful dream for her future. She wanted to become a journalist, a writer who could tell stories and share important ideas. She believed her ability to write was a special gift.
She wished for her words to be useful, to touch people, and to bring joy to others, even those she might never meet. She famously wrote, "I want to go on living, even after my death." This was a profound wish, a hope that her voice and her story would continue to exist, making her truly immortal through her writing. Day after day, Anne continued to fill the pages of her diary, sharing her deepest self. Her very last entry was on August 1, 1944. After this date, the red and white checkered notebook, her silent friend,
became completely silent itself. No more words were added. This sudden and stark silence was very heavy, hanging in the air like a dark cloud. It hinted that the secret they had kept for so long might soon be revealed, and their time in hiding was coming to an end. 6. The police arrive. On August 4, 1944, the quiet in the secret annex ended. German police, called the Grüne Polizei, suddenly came into the building on Prinzengracht. They found the hidden door, the one behind the bookcase. SS officer Karl Silberbauer led them. The people hiding felt great fear. The Frank family, the Van Pels family, and Fritz Pfeffer were all discovered. No one truly knows who told the police about their secret place. It is still a cold case today. Was it someone who worked in the warehouse below? Maybe the sister of a kind helper, Nellie, who had connections with the Nazis.
Or could it have been a Jewish notary, Arnold Vandenberg, trying to save his own family by giving names to the police? The reasons remain unclear. In the rush and panic of the arrest, the people tried to hide their small valuable things. But in the noise and confusion, Anne's red and white checkered diary fell to the floor. It was left there, forgotten by the officers. They did not know this simple book held the strong voice of a young girl. They did not know it would one day tell her story to the whole world, a story that would live forever. The police took everyone away from the secret annex. They were brought to a police office for questions. 2 of their brave helpers, Victor Kugler and Johannes Kleiman, were also arrested. They were sent to jail. Miep Gies and Bep Vlaskuyal, the other helpers, faced threats and questions from the security police, but they were not taken to prison. Soon after, Miep and Bep returned to the empty hiding place. On the floor, among the mess, they found Anne's papers. They carefully gathered the diary pages and other writings, keeping them safe. They hoped Anne would come back and want them. But the families were sent away, first to a crowded prison, then to Westerbork, a camp in Holland. On September 3, 1944, they boarded a train. This train went to the East, a terrifying place far away, a place of deep dread. 7. The darkest days. The journey from the secret annex was the beginning of the darkest days. First, the family was taken to Westerbork, a transit camp in the Netherlands. It was a temporary stop, a place of waiting in fear. Then, on September 3, 1944, they were put on a train. This was the last transport from Westerbork, heading east. The destination was Auschwitz, a name that would become known for its horror. The long 3-day journey in crowded wagons was a harsh change from the quiet attic. The tone shifted completely from the hidden, hopeful life to the cruel, industrial reality of the camps. Upon arrival at Auschwitz, chaos began. The SS guards showed no mercy. They separated the men from the women and children. Otto Frank was taken away from his wife and daughters. This was a moment of deep pain, not knowing if they would ever see each other again. People were quickly divided into 2 groups, those strong enough to work and those who would be killed immediately. Anne, who had just turned 15, was one of the youngest to be sent to work. She did not know that others from the secret annex had also survived this selection. Anne believed her father, in his mid-50s, would not have made it. Life in Auschwitz was brutal. The women were forced to strip naked, their heads were shaved, and a number was tattooed on their arms. They worked as slave laborers during the day, hauling rocks and digging. At night,
They were crammed into barracks with too many people. Disease spread quickly in these terrible conditions.
Anne's skin became badly infected with scabies. Anne, Margot, and their mother, Edith, were moved to a sick room. It was always dark and full of rats and mice. Edith, showing great love, stopped eating her own food. She saved every small piece for her daughters, pushing it through a hole in the wall. In October 1944, Anne and Margot, along with August von Pels, were chosen for a transport to Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Their mother, Edith Frank, was too weak to go. She was left behind at Auschwitz and later died from sickness, hunger, and tiredness. At Bergen-Belsen, thousands more prisoners arrived, making conditions even worse. Sickness, especially typhus, killed many people. In the camp, Anne had a brief and sad reunion with two old friends, Hannelie Goslar and Nanette Blitz. They were also prisoners, starved and sick. Anne was bald, very thin, and shaking from the cold. She told her friends she thought her parents were dead and had lost the will to live. Margot was also extremely ill, unable to move from her bed. The two sisters lay together in the dark, their bodies weak from typhus fever, whispering to each other as the end drew near. Her voice lives on. The darkest days in Bergen-Belsen camp ended sadly. Margot Frank became very weak. She fell from her bunk and died. Anne died just 1 day later, also from typhus fever. It was February or March of 1945.
They died only a few weeks before the camp was freed. Their mother, Edith, had already died in Auschwitz from sickness and hunger. Peter Van Pels also died in a concentration camp. The hope for new love was gone. Otto Frank was the only one from the secret annex to survive. He came back to Amsterdam in June 1945. His helpers, Jan and Miep Gies, gave him a place to stay. Otto looked for his family. He soon learned that Edith, his wife, had died. For weeks he hoped for his daughters, but then he heard the sad news. Margot and Anne were also gone. After the police took the family, Miep Gies and Bep Voskuil found Anne's diary papers. They were on the floor in the secret annex. The police did not care about them. Miep picked up the red checkered notebook and other pages. She kept them safe. She hoped to give them back to Anne after the war. Miep did not read the diary. She kept her promise to keep it safe. When Miep gave the diary to Otto, he started to read it. He was very moved. He saw his daughter's deep thoughts and feelings for the first time. Anne had wanted to be a writer. She wanted her voice to live on after her death. Otto decided to make her wish come true. In 1947, Anne's diary was published in Dutch. It was called Het Achterhuis, meaning the secret annex. Then in 1952, it was published in English as The Diary of a Young Girl. Many people read it.
Soon, it was in over 70 languages. It became one of the most famous books in the world. It was made into plays and movies. Important people praised Anne's writing. Eleanor Roosevelt said it was a wise book about war. John F. Kennedy said Anne's voice was very strong for human dignity. Nelson Mandela, when he was in prison, read Anne's diary. He said it gave him much strength. Miep Gies often said that Anne was not just a symbol for all 6 million victims. Anne's story was her own. But her story helps us understand the huge loss the world faced because of the Holocaust. Otto Frank spent the rest of his life sharing Anne's message. He knew the diary helped people understand what happened. The Anne Frank House opened in 1960. It keeps Anne's memory alive. Anne's voice still speaks to us today. What part of Anne's story touched you the most?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.